Hello, people. How are you? I hope you're well. I'm called Otim Frederick. I'm a software engineer and your host tonight. I'm excited to have a guest with me. She's a beautiful, passionate young lady in the tech space. She's an economist by profession with 6 years of experience in telecommunications as a customer experience executive, quality assurance analyst, and a trainer. Currently, she's a project and product manager with Savannah, leading on projects and products that are built on blockchain technology to bring about digital transformation to individuals, communities, and industries. She is the team lead on RedX, a real estate investment solution backed by blockchain technology to remove the barriers and unlock capital tied in the real estate. This is none other than Margaret Nancher. You're welcome, Margaret. All right. Okay. Yeah. So today we're going to have a discussion on how real estate is leveraging the power of blockchain technology in our community today. If you are enjoying already, stay put and let's jump onto it. So, Margaret, tell us the story. How did you begin?
Thank you, Frederick. So I started out as my first professional job as a customer care executive in a telecom company. And basically what we were doing there was just solving customer complaints. And of course, we had to be well abreast with the current technologies because customers are, of course, going to be using the latest phones or gadgets to access the internet and all these other services that telecom was offering. So from there, I was raised into another rank to media supervisor, and then later I got into quality assurance, was just making sure that we have quality conversations and interactions with all our customers. And then after I moved into training to equip our teams with the best skills to be able to serve our customers much better. And then I think that's my background in technology from there. Then later on I moved into fintech. I joined a fintech company and I was working as a product manager leading on a solution where we offer credit to SMEs and to the retailers in the stores or shops. So from there, then I joined Savannah, where I still am currently, both as a project manager and then as a product manager. And I lead on a product called RedX, Real Estate Digital Exchange, which allows individuals to invest in real estate with smaller amounts or affordable amounts compared to what they would have required in the first place if they are going to buy a property or own a property by themselves. So that is my journey currently.
Sounds interesting. So I would have some premise here and how the discussion is centered around blockchain and how blockchain is being utilized. Allow me to define maybe what a blockchain is, because I believe the solution that Maggie is saying that she's leading right now, it's power, it's leveraging the power of blockchain. But there are some viewers that may not understand what a blockchain is. So blockchain is the underlying technology that is powering Bitcoin and a lot more other cryptocurrencies like Ethereum, Solana, Celo, and many more. Blockchain provides so many solutions to our society today in different spheres, of which we shall not talk about it. We won't talk about real estate. I want to limit myself there. However, its definition, you could look at it from a point level. You can look at it as a ledger that stores information. And this information could be like transactional information. And it's stored in an open place that anybody can go and verify these records that are being stored. And they're in centers. The centers can be here in Uganda, it can be in London, in USA, in Asia. They're distributed and they all talk together through peer-to-peer, like one reaching the other, and then the information is verified. That's a little bit tricky. I don't know if you understand it, but I feel I can give that explanation that way. We're going to talk about uncover some other concepts that as we go along the way. I have the expert herself who is in that industry of leveraging real estate and blockchain. So she will help us tell us more. Yeah, so let's start. I want to ask you, RedX is tokenizing real estate yearly. So maybe what is a token or what is tokenization?
So a token, in simple terms, would be something that is used to represent anything, anywhere. A token could represent a house, it could represent a car, it could represent land, it could also represent your shirt that you're wearing right now, Frederick. So tokens are just representations of physical things into the digital world. I'll give examples of some of the things that we have currently that could be represented by tokens. We all know that if you have to buy land in Uganda, or if you have to buy a house anywhere, you need a paper deed, which is what represents your ownership of that house or that land. Same thing if you want to buy a car, you would need what we call a logbook here in Uganda to show your ownership of that car. So if you want to transfer this land to someone else, you'd have to transfer your paper deed to them to show that you've transferred ownership. And then if you want to transfer your car, you'd have to give this person your logbook to show transferred ownership of your car to them. So now the same thing with tokens. They are also just digital representations of physical assets. And right now how we're using tokens is for them to represent real estate, property. So a token would represent a whole structure or a whole property, and then someone who buys a token will have that token as ownership of the property that they have in the physical world. And then if you transfer that ownership or that token to another person, that means you've transferred your ownership in that property to someone else. So that is the whole process now, which is called tokenization. It is you being able to transfer your ownership of your tokens to another person.
Aren't there like many tokens, because you just said a token? So
Yeah.
like how is this token shared among a pool of investors or people who want to buy this house? How is it?
So what happens, what we are doing with real estate right now, the process called real estate tokenization, is that we are inviting a large pool of smaller investors who have small amounts for them to be able to buy. So how tokenization works in real estate is that if you have a property and it is worth, say, 10 million US dollars, but then you're not able to get one single investor to buy the whole property, we now take it to a process called fractionalization. So in fractionalization, we are dividing up this property into smaller portions, and each portion is assigned a token. So our property, remember, is worth $10 million, and let's say it occupies a space or area of, say, 100,000 square units. So what we do is that we shall get these 1,000 square units, and we make 100,000 tokens. So each token will be worth, in this case, $100. So we'll have over 100,000 tokens put out in the marketplace or to different investors for them to be able to buy. And once they buy, each person will have a token that represents a square unit of that property worth $100, and they'll also be able to earn from it through returns and also through monthly rent when that property is occupied.
Yeah, so we shall get how the returns comes in and compute it. Yeah, maybe let's talk about what could be the benefits of this tokenized real estate.
So remember how I said that usually people who are selling off properties look for one single person to buy that property, and this would take them a long time before the property is sold off. It could go months before you actually get a buyer. So what happens is with real estate tokenization, instead of waiting for months, when the property is tokenized and you have very many buyers coming in, you could sell it under a month. The property is already sold off, and that is one of the benefits. If you're a seller, you'll be able to get your money quickly. That means now we have increased liquidity of your property. Instead of it taking months, now it's more liquid. You can be able to get the cash immediately. And if you're a property developer, let's say you're looking for money to construct your property, we can be able to tokenize your property off plan. Going by the plan of where you need it to be set up, how does it look like, the 3D imprint, how much do you value this property, and then you tokenize it. Once it is all sold off, the funds that have been raised will be given to the developer to enable them to set up that property. And after it has been set up, the people who own tokens of this property will be able to earn market returns. So the other benefit is also to the property developer. This is a form of fundraising or financing for their projects that they need to set up. Then the other benefit is, of course, also increasing, giving an opportunity to smaller retail investors. Currently, real estate is exclusive to people with deep pockets. For you to be able to buy a property, you need lump sums of money. But then there's another target market that is excluded completely, and maybe they do not have the money that they need to buy the property. So with real estate tokenization, you're also including them. That means you're creating a larger pool of investors, smaller retail investors, who could both be local or foreign. People could be able to buy these properties from all over the world without any limitations. So that is also the other benefit of tokenization.
Oh, it has immense benefit. I'm seeing it unlocking capital to both the real estate developer and investors themselves. Okay, it sounds interesting. So I mentioned you talked of you being a manager of RedX. What is RedX, and how does RedX come in to bridging the gap between real estate and blockchain technology?
So as I mentioned earlier, RedX is, in short, it's RedX, but then in full it's actually called Real Estate Digital Exchange. So RedX is an exchange platform for tokens, and currently we're dealing in tokens, exchanging tokens for real estate properties. That means we are taking real estate properties and digitally giving them representation in the virtual world. So we are trading these tokens on that exchange for people to be able to easily invest into real estate and also earn from real estate. So that is what RedX is doing right now. So how we are coming in is to solve the challenges that we have seen in the real estate industry. Some of them I've already mentioned about liquidity, for people not being able to easily sell off their properties immediately and get their finances in time. That is one of the challenges that we are solving as we come in. And then the other one that we are also solving is ability for people to be able to buy property at any time of the day. You can be able to buy whether in the morning or the time, because the exchange platform is working 24/7. Then the other thing is also to remove the middlemen who are involved in the process of purchasing real estate. Realize that the acquisition process is quite lengthy and there are quite a number of parties involved. We have the brokers, we have agents, and by the time you settle getting your property, the buyer is actually exhausted because of the things you have to go through. So we've cut all that out by just owning a token, and then we have a company in place which is called a special purpose vehicle, which is going to take care of all these other processes of the brokers, of the lawyers, of the agents, without putting that impact out on the buyer. So we are coming in to just bridge those gaps for the seller and just to make it easy for someone to invest in real estate, to buy faster, and also the transactions are secure, given that we are using blockchain technology, which has that traceability of where the tokens were generated from in the first place, who owned them, and how the transactions move from one place to another.
Oh, yeah. Now, for real estate, for a property owner who may be worried of the deed of his house being maybe, how would you assure that who owns the real estate deed of a house?
Okay, so about property ownership, I mentioned earlier that RedX is an exchange. So when a property owner approaches RedX to sell their property, they will not approach the exchange. We have what we call a special purpose vehicle. In this case, it's the company that we have formed to be able to get into the agreements with the property owner and also the investors. So when the property owner approaches us, we refer them to the company, which is called RedX Estates Limited, for them to get into a partnership and then to transfer ownership of this property title or deed. So the SPV is actually the one that owns the property, and it holds it on behalf of the investors. It's also the one that goes into the formalization of the whole process to be able to transfer the property from one party to another. It also helps to do governance work and also financial management, and also to do any other form of consultation or hiring of any other parties that will need to be involved in the process of tokenization.
So you're saying technically there's a third party that owns my property, which I would have bought through blockchain, obviously. But then what assurance to give someone that, oh, truly this property is yours, but it's just in custody?
Okay, so since tokenization is involving a larger number of investors, you may find that you have maybe, say, 1,000 investors on the same property, because they each hold the token, which represents ownership of that property or spreading it of that property. So instead of having these 1,000 investors all coming together to get into, let's say, property management, property maintenance, collection of rent, tenancy agreements, and all those other things, now that's where the SPV comes in to be able to manage this for them. And also the money that is raised. Let me give an example. If this property is not yet set up, it's off plan, but the property developer wants to set it up. Once this money has been collected, someone needs to give the investors accountability for where the money is going to and what that money is doing, and actually to keep an eye on the money to ensure that it's actually doing what it was intentionally purposed for in the first place. So that's where now this SPV comes in. For the people who may be concerned about their ownership, that is why we have a token. Because these tokens are unique to each single property, you will not find the same token with another person or with another property. The tokens are designed to be unique to each particular property and to one particular individual. And we also have, they work in a way that with the smart contracts, you cannot be able to exchange ownership of this token unless the investor actually comes to agree that they want to sell it off to another party. That's when they'll come back to RedX, and then we'll be able to set off the plan on how we can be able to transition ownership from one party to another.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned something towards the end there of how to exchange hands of ownership. So because at some point I would want, maybe if I really now don't want the property as an investor, I want to sell it off. How easy is it for me to sell off this token to someone else?
Okay. So on RedX.estate, which is our platform where you can be able to exchange tokens, once you have signed up and you've been able to buy tokens, in the event that as an investor you are maybe you want to withdraw your interest in the property, you can still be able to reach out to the exchange that you want to sell your intended tokens, and then we shall list these tokens on what we call a secondary marketplace to allow other investors or buyers to actually come and buy the tokens from you. And once you've been able to get maybe an investor who can buy the tokens, then that's when you can be able to transfer ownership. But it all works out on demands of the price will be determined by forces of demand and supply. Because if you have maybe very many people demanding for the tokens at that time, then the price will also be fluctuating based on that. The same thing with anyone who wants to sell their tokens on the secondary marketplace. It's all forces of demand and supply that will affect the price at which you sell your token.
Isn't it affected by maybe crypto world? Because now here you're playing the game of crypto. I mean, and it's a little bit volatile, highly volatile. Like, is it like a crypto token, or it is like different in terms of its price?
Okay. So now the token price is since it's a representation of a physical asset, which is real estate. Of course, the price will also be determined by how properties with time, valuation, and also maybe maintenance and repair, how it looks like. So the price of the token will not be affected by the crypto world, because these tokens are just representations of the physical asset. And even if an investor is buying and wants to pay with crypto, we advise that you pay using a stable coin, where the price is not of the crypto is not affected, it's not volatile. And then we also have an option for those who want to pay using fiat, That means an investor can actually come and pay with either USDs or Ugandan shillings to just give the investor different options for those who have not yet embraced crypto to also be able to invest in real estate without excluding them. Because our main goal here is to simplify investments in real estate and also bring inclusivity of people who are previously left out in real estate investment.
Okay. So what if I wanted to pay with Ethereum or maybe have my blockchain? Actually, have some of that.
You can still play with Ethereum or with any other crypto that you have. What we have done with our exchange platform is that we've tried as much as possible to include as many common cryptocurrencies as possible. So currently, if you own a MetaMask wallet, you can connect your MetaMask wallet to the platform while that is all done in the KYC stage, where you're now becoming an investor and they're onboarding you. You connect your MetaMask wallet so that you can actually be able to buy with whichever crypto you have in your MetaMask wallet. So we have Ethereum, we have Bitcoin, we have the most popular ones. And in case you're interested in seeing those options, of course, you have to come and sign up and be an investor in the RedX.
Yeah, Margaret mentioned something very important, MetaMask. So ideally, a MetaMask is a wallet that's a digital wallet for cryptocurrencies that keeps your cryptocurrencies. So in case you want to make a
transaction, like selling of your Ethereum, Bitcoin, you need to just own this, create an account with MetaMask, which is an extension on a browser. After you've set it up, you are able to transact all these other activities of the blockchain. Yeah. So you've already mentioned something of that, who manages the properties, which is who manages the properties again? The special purpose vehicle for the company. Okay. All right. So I'm curious.
What if RedX goes out of business and what happens? How do I maybe find my funds? Because I might have put a lot of money in this thing and I was like, now you get out of business. What do I do?
Okay, so first of all, our intention is not to run out of business or to close, because we know that technology evolves over time and there are very many things that you can do with technology. And one of them that we're doing right now is, of course, real estate. But in the event that RedX exchange is dissolved, remember these properties are owned by the SPV, limited company that we formed. So RedX exchange and this special purpose vehicle are two separate entities. They are different companies with each having its own governance policies, taxing, accounting, and all those other processes. So since the properties and the deeds are held by the special purpose vehicle, if RedX, the exchange, is dissolved, there would be no impact on the investor for the properties that they own. They would still continue owning their property until a voting is made to appoint another company or a person, an individual or an institution as now the one who will take over management of the other tokens and the properties that are held.
Okay. Now, for someone interested right now, maybe someone who wants to invest in RedX right now, what are the steps by step for this person to maybe get onboarded onto RedX or to invest his money onto the real estate?
Okay, so for someone to get started, one, you're going to access our platform on redx.estate. When you access it, you'll be able to see a button for Get Started. And on the Get Started button, you'll be requested to open up an account. We're just going to take down your email address and then you create a password. Then we shall also ask for other small information to do know your customer valuation. We shall need your date of birth, your ID, just a few things to know about you so that we put in our system. Then after you're done with that and you've created your account, you've set up your payment terms. If you want to pay with crypto or if you want to pay via the bank, then now you're ready to invest in properties. You'll be able to view the wide pool of properties that are listed on RedX. So you can invest depending on how you feel, how your pockets speak. You can have a token for as much as $50. You could have for $100. You can even decide to buy more than one token and say, I want to buy for $1,000. The options are all available to you. So we shall all be waiting for you to be able to sign up and open up an account with RedX the website.
Oh, it sounds amazing and it sounds simple. Yeah. So, in summary, let's get into something a little bit. Let's first break out of that and talk about what could be the common myth about women in tech and the tech space.
That's an interesting question. I think the common myth about women in tech, I think it has now changed and it has evolved over time. But I think previously it was, I think, a question about competence. Yeah, most people thought women in tech are not as competent as the men because they look at them as being more feeble and vulnerable. But the thing is that women in tech space are as knowledgeable as the men in the tech world. They are directors, they are developers, they are product leads, project managers. They're doing all these sorts of things in technology space and they're involved in changing the technology world with leadership and the skills that they have attained over time. So the myth that women are not competent in the tech space is actually wrong because we also see that in schools and universities we have girls filling up lecture rooms in courses to do with technology, in electrical engineering, technology engineering, in IT. These are all women that we see, and I think for me the myth is now dead. It doesn't exist. That was, I think, a decade or decades ago. But in the world that we're moving in right now, women are as knowledgeable as the men in the tech space.
And what do you tell a girl child right now? Maybe a word of encouragement and say, hey, yeah.
I think for the girl's child right now, the message I would give to them is, if they want to do in the tech space, I don't know, even if it's not just tech, but anything else that they want to do, is that to dream and keep dreaming, not to give up on their dreams, because anything is possible. I think for most of the things that would encourage most of the girls, especially in Africa, is about a question of resources. You may have these big dreams of maybe you want to join the tech space, but then maybe you do not have access to the resources to help you get there. But the thing that I would want to tell the young girls today is not to give up on that dream, to keep on dreaming, do the best that you can, get yourself into spaces where you can meet people who are going to challenge your thinking, people who are like-minded, people who share your vision and purpose, and that is where you'll be able to see that you're able to thrive and you're able to shine.
Okay, still talking around gender, do you think the girl child has been so much pushed and the boy child being put on the side? Like, it's like technically the girls are being so much empowered. Do you think also the boys also need some platform as well?
I think the girls, it's a tricky question, I would say. That boys are also equally being pushed because we have seen different programs that have been involving boys a lot as well. But I think why the focus looks like it's more on the girls is because from history or from the background that we've had in Africa is that girls have been sort of like the minority where you see girls are not able to attend school because maybe they were expected to stay home and do chores or they're not supposed to attain a certain level of education. So why it seems like girls are being pushed right now is just to break that mentality from before, just to break all that thought process of people back then and to help the girl child grow and have this confidence of like, you know what, as girls we can be able to do it, as girls we can achieve greater things. I'm not putting down the boys are actually doing great and there's very many platforms for them to be able to rise, but I find that sometimes a girl child needs much more encouragement because of the different situations, the circumstances around them that they may face, which is not the same for the boy child.
What is the most important lesson that you've learned over the years in your career?
I think the most important lesson for me from my first job that I mentioned was, I think it's about patience and resilience. Yes, because I think I wouldn't be here today if I had given up in the first place. I would have just maybe picked up my first call, talked to my first client, and the mere fact that that client was rude to me, I would have been like, you know what, this is not for me, let me just go home, sit, maybe find a wealthy husband and just stay home. But it's about patience and resilience, and in each and everything that you do with intentionality. of where do you want to see yourself, where do you want to be. That is why each and every one of us is supposed to have a vision, a purpose as to why you live. What is that thing that wakes you up each and every day, and what are you going to do about it to be able to get there? Once you keep having those motivation factors moving around in your head, you will find that you will always have the fuel to push you to move forward.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I like that, having a vision and moving towards a vision, and not giving up, resilience. Yeah, you're really spot on there. Come bring this recording towards the end. Thank you, and if you watched till the end, thank you for watching until the end. So let me ask Maggie, maybe if you have anything maybe for us, maybe what would be a question that you have for me right now?
A question I have for you?
Yes.
Okay. I think my question to you, Frederick, is what are your thoughts on the technology space? Let's say, give it about 10 years from now. Where do you see blockchain technology? Where do you see the evolution of technology moving?
All right. Thank you, Maggie, for that question. So you're talking, asking me what the future looks like in the technology space. What I predict and see what the future looks like. I'm seeing a convergence of a lot of things. There's a convergence in AI, machine learning, blockchain technology, and identity, all coming together. So we are moving towards a unified world where together we can live in a virtual world right now, just like the metaverse, and we're still in the early stages though. So, but I think we are towards a better future that is really, really exciting, full of opportunities. That this technology actually brings in a lot of things. It will, first of all, maybe disrupt industries and create more opportunities. So I feel we are moving towards an exciting future. Yeah. All right. What's the last thing maybe you will keep to my girl? One last thing maybe, or what before we close, and then we say it's done.
One last thing I want to give Frederick's viewers or viewers of this channel. First of all, I'd like to appreciate you all for watching this channel, for being able to support, but most importantly, to also encourage you to keep watching. If you want to learn more about technology, you want to learn about blockchain, you want to learn about things that are changing the world, it's just to keep glued to this channel, keep watching, and you'll be able to learn a lot that you'll also be able to influence in your spaces. Alright,
you guys, there you have it. If you stay till the end, please consider subscribing and hit the bell, and I'll be recording more of this content. I'll bring in more people in the industry, the blockchain world, and in different areas. Better yet, if you know people whom I can reach out to, maybe you can make a suggestion. You write, leave me a comment, drop me a comment, and someone I will reach out to and who will be open for this interview. And then we hear his thoughts, his story, so we tap into his experience and his knowledge they can share with us. All right, thank you and goodbye.